Long time coming since the announcement a few weeks ago at Pebble Beach, where you've played PGA Tour events in the past, but this is the first time you're actually playing as an individual in a PGA Tour event. Just what's the anticipation been like for you, and kind of what are your expectations this week?
Well, first I feel honored to receive the sponsor's exemption. The Punta Cana Resort and Club gave that to me. The Ranieri family, Frank Sr. and Jr., and I've gotten to know them a little bit down here, so it's been a special week already, and we're going to hopefully go out and play some good golf and make them look hopefully smart. We'll see.
You were telling me you've been here for a few days. I guess you've got a few rounds under your belt. What do you see at this golf course that might suit your game, perhaps?
Well, it's long. The back nine is 4,053 yards, and I can't remember the last time we played 9 holes over 4,000 yards. But there's space off the tee. I think the course is in great shape. The paspalum and the grass that they have here, it's a little different than you're normally used to in the States. But I think when you play it, you love it pretty quickly. So you're going to get a great lie every time. The rough is just enough to make you have to practice and be prepared for it. So, it's a good test of golf. The length and the wind will be the test. And if it's windy, the scores won't be that low.
What do you think the major difference will be for you playing as an individual, having played in the past with partners in a PGA Tour event?
Well, I think it's like anything. As you play, it's about competition. It's about just getting into your own bubble and creating an environment that you're comfortable in, and then going to do what you know how to do. And golf obviously wasn't my sport, most of my life. But I've put in a lot of time preparing for this, so I'll be prepared to play at the best that I'm capable of this week.
Okay, we'll take some questions. We'll start with Adam right in front.
Hey, Tony. Adam Stanley with PGAtour.com. Have you reached out to anyone on the PGA Tour, or maybe Steph Curry or somebody who also played in a tour event to ask any suggestions or feedback for you?
Well, I know a bunch of the guys in Dallas. I mean, there's, we got, I feel like 10 guys I know that are out here, and so we talk all the time, play all the time, so it feels kind of regular to be around. And but more than anything, it's like I said a little bit, once you get out here, you got to just kind of create your own bubble per se mentally, and get yourself locked in, and go do what you did on Tuesday, go do what you did last week. The hard part is getting there, emotionally and mentally, so you can just get rid of what is going on around you, and how big or not big the moment is, and just commit to what you're doing and let it go.
When did you start playing golf?
Well, my dad got me golf clubs when we were about 8, so I guess you could say I got clubs at that age. Didn't really start practicing. I can remember going to a country club for the first time. I was probably in my 20s, and you grew up on the local public course, and you go play a little bit with your dad. And then one day we went to like a country club, and there was golf balls there. And so I hit them, and I was like, well, where do I go pay for more golf balls? And they just had more golf balls for you. And I was like, this is it feels like you're stealing. I mean, literally, you're over there and you're hitting balls, and then they just bring you more golf balls, and you're hitting them. I'm like, you could do this all day. And that was the start of probably actually playing golf, was probably when I could practice and not have 21 balls before you're done playing. So,
are you still a member of a country club now?
Yeah, I belong to a couple clubs there in Dallas, which is nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. In terms of your preparation for this week, I mean, obviously you're between the ropes. It's a tour event. There's a lot of guys' livelihoods, some of them on the line this week.
Absolutely.
How much are you going to treat this as just as committed as they are to what's going to be going on for hopefully 72 holes?
Oh no, I'll be treating it very serious. I think, for me, the approach I've taken. My wife will tell you, she hadn't seen much of me over the last month, but if you know me at all, it's I think that if I care about something, I'm going to commit to it 100%. So, like I said, you'll get the best I got this week.
Okay. Your question, sir.
Hello, Tony. Welcome to the Dominican Republic. My name is Felix Olivo. I work for Fiebre de Golf Media. I just want to ask something about your short golf career, right? So you've been trying to get into the U.S. Open and other tournaments, and you're now in a sponsorization here, Corales Punta Cana Resort and Club Championship. My question is, you played and the NFL at the highest level. In terms of mental preparation, how do you compare what you did in NFL besides golf? How do you compare?
Well, they're slightly different. Obviously they're different sports, but the mental side, football's reactionary. So you're always making decisions almost after, the snap of the football. You're reacting to the play and the surrounding things that are going on. In golf, you're trying to commit wholeheartedly before you ever pull the club out of your bag. And from there, then, it's muscle memory and your technique and fundamentals and such. And that's the two biggest differences in the sport. Is just one of them is, you work hard and then you got people flying around you. I'm not worried about getting hit before I hit the ball. So it's at my own tempo, my own speed in this sport. And sometimes that's difficult and sometimes that's easier, depending upon the situation.
Dave.
Tony, what are your, you had a new job last year, and not that this will be a job, what are your level of nerves you're going to be? Obviously you've played on the biggest stage, the NFL, but I'm sure your nerves will be a little different.
Yeah, obviously anytime you're in a different sport, it's going to be slightly less you're out of your comfort zone. I do think that, I've played enough golf where I feel comfortable, in venues with size and people around, and that part of it probably won't be that much different. I do feel like the fact that, it's a PGA Tour event, I understand, how important this week is. I told people earlier, it's like a free agent in football. You're only afforded so many chances. If you're the first pick of the draft, you got a few years before they cast you aside. So, when you get an opportunity in life, you want to be prepared and be ready for it.
Get this microphone back to Adam here. Another question. Thank you.
What is it about pitchers and quarterbacks that make such good golfers?
I don't know. I think the inquisitive mind a little bit, maybe. More than anything, we're technically always trying to hit a spot. And so, when you're trying to perfect your craft, and what I've done over the last few months has really been the same thing I did in football when I was young, starting off. What do I believe in? What's my blueprint that I'm going to follow? And you got to believe in something, then you got to go attack it, and then when you're not hitting it as well, you go back to your fundamentals and what you believe in, and then from there you attack it with everything you got, and then you see what happens.
What do you think is the strongest part of your game, and is there an area that you think you have to work on a little bit more?
Well, that was one thing that I had to assess, was like, okay, what really do I have to improve upon? So what I tried to do was just take my weaknesses and like anything, we try and make them a strength. And I did that every offseason in football, and I felt like I needed to take that approach here when I started this process. And, I feel like the wedge game was not up to any tour standard, I guess you could say. They're getting them a lot closer over time, from 80 yards, 112, 74. If I had 74 yards 2 months ago, I'm taking my 60 degree and just taking a little off, which is, silly when I think of that now. But, now you have numbers, you have swings, there's a lot that goes into it as far as the preparation. So that was something I had to improve, and, I have in that area. And then, the rest, I could go on really, but that's part of it.
You're sounding very serious about your dedication to this event and the time and effort you're putting into it, but have you been able to experience any of the other activities at the resort here at Punta Cana while you've been here the last few days?
Well, it's really a unique and special place. For the people who haven't been here, it's like an incredible vacation spot. The water's perfect. The people are over the top friendly. The staff everywhere has been fantastic, and I think it's not out of the realm for us to come back for a vacation with my family at some point, because it's been really special.
Go again.
You've been on the driving range already this morning, I think, or
yep.
have you? Yeah.
Throughout the week.
What was the reception like from the fellow tour pros so far? Have they been excited to see you?
Yeah, it's been great. We'll play a little bit this afternoon as well, and I think I've seen these guys a lot. I know it sounds silly, but I've been around, I guess you could say, and just through Dallas and just in life a little bit, you end up meeting people, and so the comfort level makes it probably a little bit easier. And but you'll be nervous on Thursday on the first tee. Just going to be got to get through the first 3 or 4 holes. If I can handle the nerves on the first 3 or 4 holes, I think that I'll settle in and hopefully just play the way I've been playing.
Dave.
A lot of people are kind of surprised with how well Curry played last year on the web. Maybe I think himself he was even surprised. Do you have an expectation? Do you have a number that you're going, or is it just kind of hit the ball, chase the ball?
It's not hit the ball, chase the ball. I don't think quite to that level, but I'm not putting any expectations on myself. Like you guys, I'm anxious to see what that is. What level is that? I don't know. I think we'll see this week. In a perfect world, I feel like we'd have had a couple more weeks of preparation to get to where, because I've seen the signs start to really shift here over the last couple weeks. But sometimes you got to go, and when it's time to go, you go. And there's a lot of good stuff that I feel really good about, and hopefully the scores will indicate that, and then we'll see what happens.
Well, obviously, this is an additional week event. The World Golf Championships Dell Technologies match play is going on, and it sounds like there's a lot of interest from folks there that are playing that week in your performance here. And so I'm sure they'll be watching. Have you had any text messages from any other players that might be there that are keeping an eye on your performance here this week?
I think they're waiting to either tell me congrats or I knew it, terrible, something along those lines. So they're probably going to wait and see which way the wind's blowing before they send them.
Well, you've certainly brought a lot of attention to the event this week, and we look forward to watching you play, and hope you enjoy it. Thank you for your time, Tony.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.